The very first ayah recited by the Imam, and this was the ayah that talks about the most honored of creation, and this is none other than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So my talk is on our Prophet and our legacy, he being our legacy, and the fact that we must all do everything in our power to protect his nobility, protect his honor, and also pray and hope to be from his ummah on the day of resurrection. When I would think about the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and with all of the text I have read, and a lot of us here have read and listened to a lot of them, Shama'il al-Muhammadiyya al-Nabi, or it is Rahiq al-Makhtoom, or it is Nur al-Bayan or Nur al-Yaqeen. Any of these books and many more books talk about the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in everything that we learn about his life, we see that there was one very important thing that he left behind for us all, and that was his love and his care for the ummah. He is the greatest when it came to that, and that's why on his final, the final statement he would make when he was given the opportunity to make a dua or to remember those who are left behind him, what he would constantly make dua, or those whom he would constantly make dua for, were his ummah. My ummah, my ummah. He kept repeating this. He would make dua for us all, even if he had never met us before. That is why our love for him can never be quantified. When people try to ask or try to understand that are non-Muslim, why do we love our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam so much? Even though he was a man like any of us, Allah tells us, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيَّ, that say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are a man like any other, like those you are with, and you have only been inspired and given the inspiration from Allah that none has the right to be worshipped but him. But in his character, in his honor and nobility, in his compassion, in his mercy, we learn about him, and we see that truly there is none that was comparable to him. He had the power to have the entire universe at his fingertips, but he chose the Almighty above anything else. And that is why our love for the Prophet ﷺ can never be described in 5 minutes. It is not justice. I would never be doing justice if I spent 5 minutes to talk about him. But I'm only making this statement to remind us all that we are who we are today because we follow in the footsteps of one who is far greater than anything we can imagine. And I pray that you and I and all of us will be at his hound, his fountain, and will drink from that water, and we will be from his ummah, not just because of what he has done, but because of the sacrifices he made for all of us. And that is one of the greatest benefits of being in the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if nothing, we remember the narration in Qasasul Anbiya of a prophet of Allah, whom when narrating about Allah, or narrating to Allah about a people he read about, and this prophet would say, "Oh Allah, I have read of so and so, make them my ummah." And he said, Allah mentions to him that that is from the ummah of Ahmed or Muhammad. And he would repeat this, and finally the prophet dropped the tablet and said, "Oh Allah, make me from the ummah, the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam." And this was a prophet as well. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.